What's up, good people? It's yours truly, the Moneyista, Natasha Varela. I am here to discuss a very important matter. Every now and again, I do get questions about, political events going on in the country as it relates to the tax code. And I want to tell you before we start, I am neither Democrat nor Republican. I am issue based, right? I deal with what is, okay? And so, on Friday, VP Harris came out with her plan, her economic plan, and as usual, it's the same talking points between both parties, no matter what. It's basically, let's throw out the crumbs that relate to the people that we want to relate to and see who picks up each crumb, right? And so I'll use this as an example. One part of the plan was to create affordable housing, and how you're going to do that. The rhetoric was to tax the wealthy, right? Increase corporate tax rates. This almost never works. Trickle-down economics almost never works. As someone who has 20 years total in audit, accounting, and tax, 13 in the large business and international division of the IRS, examining large entities that report 10 million or more in gross receipts and our assets, I'm here to tell you 90%, 95% of those tax returns have international ties. That means they have a Form 5471 or a Form 5472, which means they either have a parent company abroad or a subsidiary company abroad, under which they do transactions to lower their tax liabilities, meaning they shift the income to the low tax jurisdictions and they absorb the expenses in the high tax jurisdictions because expenses lower taxable income. Okay, it's called transfer pricing. And so to that I say, whatever you do at the top almost always negatively affects the bottom, which is, for all intents and purposes, the wage earners, right? Wages are always going to be at the bottom of the wealth hierarchy, and that's in the tax code. The tax code is the root of all wealth in this country. Most issues in this country, as it pertains to the regular American or even elections, surface through the tax code. And it's never going to benefit the wage earner. And so I'll address the second point, which is the child tax credit, right? The increase. It is, again, a crumb being thrown. It's never going to help in the long term or even in the short term with financial relief, right? Your largest financial burdens are usually your tax liability, your housing, and then coming in third, maybe second for some, childcare for those who have children. And a $6,000 credit is wonderful. It's great. It's a good grab during filing season, which you guys call tax season. But the reality is it just keeps you in the cycle of waiting for that credit, right? Credit is a dollar for dollar relief in tax liability. And so I say that to say anything that hits the Form 1040, which is most U.S. workers, right, your wages, directly without having any business ownership or real estate investing, it never really creates a situation of true financial relief. And so for those of you who are not interested in business ownership and real estate investing, you will forever be in that race. That is just what it is. I'm just the bearer of the news, bad or good, however you see it. This is what it is, right? Economics, the study of what should be in a perfect world where supply meets demand. Accounting, the study of what is. 2 + 2 is 4, no matter what you say it is. This is something that did happen. The numbers are the numbers. Finance is the study of what could be. It's forecasting, and that's usually based on what is, right? Because a lot of times people go from what should be to what could be without acknowledging what is. The reality is no one's coming to save you. You are going to have to engage in tax favorable transactions to alleviate your financial burdens and systemically build wealth. By operating within a tax code, you are systemically building wealth, whether you like it or not. Wealth chases the tax code. That's what it is. I teach my students how to legally eliminate and or reduce your tax liability, and it automatically increases your bottom line. I don't have a tax liability and I don't have a housing cost. And that is all because I operate within a tax code. And for those who are skeptical, I myself, a former revenue agent, was audited for 2022. I came out clean, no taxes, no penalties, no adjustments. I've posted the report on my page, and I'm happy to post it again. The reality is I don't have a tax liability because I move within the tax code. I'm strategic. I don't grapple for deductions after 12/31 for the year that's ended. I'm a planner. I teach my students to plan and to strategize. The tax code runs the economy, right? Why do you think that there's a special deduction for vehicles 6,000 pounds and over, right? That fuels the large or the heavy vehicle industry, right? Because the wealthy people will flock to it, and even those that aren't wealthy, right? And a lot of times people who really don't understand the tax code will do this, right? And it will negate their net worth and their wealth because you don't understand how and when. And the timing is more important than the deduction, right? And behind every deduction and every tax incentive is motive and agenda. There's a reason why there was a credit for electric vehicles. It fueled the electric vehicle industry. Okay, so I just want everybody to have perspective during this season, this election season. You're either in the tax code or you're out. You cannot really opt out, but you're either on the one side of the tracks or the other, complaining, fighting, red versus blue, conservative versus liberal. Gang versus gang does nothing because the tax code is always going to favor those who designed it, which is the wealthy. They will always be able to react for their betterment, and it will always impact the people that really are intended to benefit from it. Okay, so there's my take. Okay, again, I am not for or against any party. I am for the truth. The truth is something that will definitely set you free. It has set me free. It has set my constituents free. I'm here to teach you how to operate. An effect of operating within a tax code is that it teaches you how to maneuver with money. It changes your relationship with the dollar. And that's the truth. So with that being said, go ahead and join my free live training by visiting www.themoneynista.com. You can click the link in the bio if you're seeing this on Instagram or YouTube. My next live is September 10th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be doing it twice a month until May of next year. And remember, tax season is all year long, not just January through April. Okay, and that's what the wealthy understand. All right, there's a reason why certain tax credits don't work for smaller businesses and individuals. Example, research and development, right? There are very strict guidelines around taking that deduction legitimately. Most people can't benefit from it, right? It is reserved for those with money, right? Those who can afford to explore innovative and new products. So again, please take this time to have more perspective. No one is coming to save you. You're going to have to learn to operate. If you're not interested in business ownership and real estate investing, you will stay in that W-2 cycle. You will always be affected by any change in economic circumstances, particularly downturns. All right. So I hope to see you in the mastermind or in the free live training.